A very good evening to you and a very warm welcome to TV47 Weekend Edition. Of course, we have so much in store for you tonight on what is happening in the world of news. Now, as usual on Saturday, we usually have a segment that is her say, but for today we will put it on a hold just to give you an updated report on everything that is happening in the country and of course across our borders. But before we tell you all that, let's first of all take a look at the stories making headlines tonight. Tonight, 9 people lost their lives and 17 others were injured when a bus they were traveling in veered into Mbagathi River in the Gataka area of Ongata Rongai.
Gari ilikosa mwelekeo, ilikuwa inapanda huu mlima mnaona hapa mbele yetu, ikakosa mwelekeo.
Authorities are probing an incident involving a young man who was fatally shot during a violent clash between rival factions in Thika's Kimoshu area, Kiambu County on Friday evening.
Mheshimiwa Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, kuja uongee na watu wa Kiganjo. Sisi tunataka amani. Hatukuchagua viongozi halafu wawe ndio wanatuua.
And 1 week after the commencement of the second-term school calendar nationwide, numerous students and pupils in Mai Mahiu remain distracted following the tragedy that befell the area, with nearly 200 of them yet to return to class.
It is really tormenting them. The reaction is they are sad, they are anxious, they are worried, they are not settling down well.
All right, welcome to the broadcast. Catherine Simaloi is our sign language interpreter tonight. My name is Anne Odida. Let's get started. Now, at least 9 people are dead and several others are nursing injuries after a PSV bus belonging to Nabako Sacco plunged into River Mbagathi. It is reported that the driver tried to slow down at the bumps on a small hill when the brakes failed, which then forced the bus to plunge into the river. Our reporter Paul Kirobi with the details.
It was a mournful morning for the families and friends of those aboard a Naboko Sacco PSV bus en route from Gataka Center to Karen in Nairobi. Little did the passengers anticipate that this day would mark the end of their lives. The outcome was tragic, and as of now, 9 people have lost their lives with several others sustaining injuries.
Nilikuwa hapa juu. Niliona gari inaenda hivi sasa. Kakuja saa driver alikuwa anangangana vya hata ikatisha hivi kona gari ingi side ya mabati saki bahati mbaya gari kaanguka.
The 33-seater PSV bus was heading to Karen, and moments before the accident, the driver, who was already prepared to climb the hill, realized that the hill was too steep for him, made worse by a bump which forcefully required him to slow down. By the time he slowed down, it was difficult for him to change gears, and therefore he was forced to reverse and find stability. However, the vehicle's brakes malfunctioned and it plunged into a river. While confirming the incident, police officers said the driver lost control.
Gari ilikuwa inatoka upande ya Gataka ikielekea Karen, na ni kama gari ilikosa mwelekeo, ilikuwa inapanda huu mlima mnaona hapa mbele yetu, ikakosa mwelekeo, ikaingia ikatubukia kwa mto. Tumeweza kupoteza watu 9 na wengine 17 wako kwa mahospitali.
Students from Embakasi Secondary School in Karen were forced to rush to the scene to at least save the injured and retrieve bodies that were inside the river. The casualties were taken to Karen, Fatima and St. Mary's Hospital. Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka urged drivers to be vigilant and called upon the National Transport Authority to conduct thorough road inspections.
Naonekana driver alikuwa anajaribu kuclimb mlima, alafu pengine gari ikakosa nguvu ndio ikarudi nyuma. Mambo mengine haya ni kuangalia kama kwa mfano wanahusika na kudhibiti usawa wa magari. Je, wako kazini amba pia wamegomea?
This plea follows the recent cases of accidents. Meanwhile, the National Transport and Safety Authority (NTSA) has intensified its road safety awareness campaigns nationwide. Paul Kilobi, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, police are investigating an incident in which a young man was shot dead during a violent confrontation between rival groups in Thika's Kimuchu area in Kiambu County on Friday evening. During the incident at a proposed market in Kamenu ward and attended by 4 MPs, 26-year-old David Nduati was shot dead, while Anthony Kamau, aged 46 years, was seriously injured by a bullet that lodged in his chest.
These were the scenes at the heart of Thika's Kimuchu area on Friday evening. A violent clash erupted, drawing the attention of police officers. Rival factions clashed, the hostility escalating into a deadly confrontation that would leave one young man, David Nduati, lifeless.
Wanaume wawili wameenda juu ya watu kupigania mzozo tu, wakashamba kidogo. Mheshimiwa Rais, kuja ujionee chenye kinatuma watu wako wakufe.
Another Anthony Kamau found himself fighting for his life as a bullet tore through his chest.
Alipigwa mkono wa kushoto, pande ya nje, ikaingia pande ya ndani, ikaingia ndani ya mwili. Na sasa hata hajatolewa ile risasi, ndio nasikia anataka kupelekwa Kenyatta ndio atibiwe.
As the chaos unfolded at a proposed market project in Kamenu ward, the presence of 4 members of parliament added unexpected dimension to the already tense situation.
Watu wanakuja from nowhere and then wanaanza kushoot. Hata wako wanataka kujua kama wanafunzi wanatokea shule ama kuna watoto mahali. So hiyo si kisa mzuri hata kidogo.
The ripple effect of the violence reaching to local authorities, with Assistant County Commissioner Philomena Nzioki sustaining injuries in the chaos.
Nilitaka kuambia Mheshimiwa William Samoei Ruto kuja hapa ulete suluhisho. Nimechoka kusikia His Excellency Deputy President anashinda akiita watu ama viongozi wa Kiambu, na hata wakiongereshwa ni vita tu.
Eyewitness accounts painted a picture of escalating tension as 2 rival groups clashed, with accusations flying in the aftermath. Area MCA Peter Mburu has pointed accusing fingers at the visiting legislators, alleging that their actions had incited the violence. The locals have now called for a thorough investigation to identify those responsible.
Ningependa sana achukuliwe hatua ndio awe funzo kwa wengine, asije wakatumia bunduki kwa njia isiyofaa.
Ruga Evil, TV47.
All right, now millions of students in the country depending on the school feeding program have been thrown into a state of confusion after the national government initiated plans to scrap off budgetary allocations for the program in the 2024-2025 financial year. And as Elizabeth Atieno now reports, the Dishina County School program in Nairobi is still underway, although the national government is yet to offer financial support to it.
At the crack of dawn, piercing sounds of machines and clattering sounds of knives welcomes us to Madhangari Kitchen in Nairobi County. Here we meet a group of chefs preparing a meal. First off, they chop cabbages, then carrots, as onions and tomatoes are grated. The food is then fried. Today's meal is rice and beans.
Mbosho zikiiva, tunaweka cabbage, tunaipea time, tunaweka carrot, zinachemuka, zikiiva, tunaweka hiyo rojo.
You will realize that the meal prepared is of large quantity. This is because it is meant for 200,000 learners under the Dishina County program in Nairobi County.
Identification, alafu after hapo hivyo seal.
By 11 a.m., the distribution process to various schools is complete, and by the time the lunchtime bell goes off, pupils can barely control their hunger pangs, and it's time to fill their empty stomachs. As of now, 200,000 pupils have benefited from this program, up from 180,000 pupils last term. The county government of Nairobi is steadily stepping on the pedal to ensure that over 300,000 pupils who attend school will benefit from this noble cause.
And the number has really increased since the inception of the feeding program by the county government. it isn't much money. Comparing that some of these parents were not able to pay for hot lunch.
However, the fate of the Dishi na County program hangs in the balance, as the initial plan for this program was for the county government to contribute 1.2 billion Kenya shillings to the kitty, while the Education Ministry was to match it. However, the county government has lamented over the national government's inability to keep its end of the bargain.
I usually see even some of them eating and leaving some little from their bakulis to carry home to the younger ones. So it is helping even beyond the school.
Additionally, millions of learners spread across 26 counties who have been depending on the school feeding program may go without meals effective July this year, as the 2024-2025 budget has not incorporated funds for this program, which had been allocated 4.9 billion Kenya shillings in the current financial year.
So can you imagine population ambayo itakuwa kwa mashule bila chakula, watoto watatoka?
That is what will put children in school in pandemic-prone areas. Kama unachagula watoto watakuja shule.
Nataka niombe kwamba ile pesa ilikuwa imetengwa kwa Ministry of Education 4.7 billion irudishwe.
According to the Ministry of Education, the required funding for the 2024-2025 financial year is 9.78 billion Kenya shillings. However, the allocated budget has a shortfall of 660 million Kenya shillings. Elizabeth Atieno, TV47.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for that report. Now, the Ministry of Health has sounded an alert to schools on possible public health risks due to the heavy rains. School heads have now been called on to know possible risk factors and have remedial measures ready in the schools. Meanwhile, victims of flooding in camps say they are worried of possible outbreaks of diseases in the camps due to their large number.
The Ministry of Health's advisory to school comes a week after learning resumed, and with the meteorological department's forecast of increased rainfall in areas to the east and west of the Rift Valley and near Lake Victoria. School administrators have been advised to investigate possible risk factors in a bid to curb the spread of waterborne diseases like cholera, malaria, typhoid, chikungunya, yellow fever and dengue fever. All schools have been instructed to ensure that evacuation plans are in place, water safety, hygiene practices, protection from mosquitoes, food safety and health monitoring maintained. Meanwhile, affected families are asking for help to see their children who have not reported back to school join their mates already in school.
Watoto waende shule kwa sababu moja, vitabu zao, makazi yao yote yalisobwa na maji.
And in temporary camps set up for flood victims, affected residents fear for an outbreak of diseases due to the large number of people in the camps.
Sunaona hata space ni kidogo, hata mahali penye watoto wanaweza lala inakuwa ngumu. Inaibidi sasa tushikane tu, ani gula mtu akuje tu mahali penye anaweza kujipa tu space ya kulala. Alafu hiyo hema tuko na maugonjwa tofauti. Unapata mtu ako na ugonjwa ya kukohoa, ako na homa, itabidi iambukize watoto wadogo.
The victims have asked the government to find them permanent housing as they hope for a sense of normalcy in their lives.
Wakina mama kama sisi tunahitaji pia tukitoka hapa tupate venye tunaweza funguliwa hata biashara. Tukue na biashara kidogo kidogo zisaidie watoto wetu. Si ati tukitoka hapa tena tunaenda kuhangaika.
There's a lot of need, and you can see the children who have not been able to go to school. Now it's all week gone, and some of them have been sent home that they don't have the school provisions.
Sheila Chelangat for TV47.
Now, the legality of Kenya police officers being sent to the Caribbean nation of Haiti as a peacekeeping force has been questioned. 200 officers are set to be deployed next week, with the deployment set to coincide with President William Ruto's official state visit to the United States. The president insists that the deployment is not unpopular in the country, terming the mission as a responsibility that Kenya must undertake to help Haitians, just as it would its own people. Third Way Alliance party leader Ekuru Okot argued that the deployment of the 200 police officers next week will be unconstitutional, as the High Court barred the deployment. Kisawa Emery with that report.
The Haitian deployment will go on as scheduled, according to President William Ruto.
The head of state has termed the deployment as necessary in the country's role as a quote-unquote global citizen.
We believe that threat to security anywhere is threat to security everywhere. The same way we will deploy troops to look after our own women and children in the North Rift in Kenya is the same way we are available to work with the rest of the international community to deploy our police to secure women and children in Haiti. Haiti asked for Kenya's support. Kenya will show up and support the women, the children, the people of Haiti. And we are working with others, and I am persuaded, beyond any reasonable doubt, that this is an assignment that Kenya is up to, and we intend to do it.
Almost as a response to the president's comments, Third Way Alliance party leader Ekuru Aukot has asked the judiciary to intervene and stop the Haiti deployment, while accusing top government officials such as President William Ruto, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki, and Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi of what he says is blatant contempt of court orders.
Even if there was any attempt to deploy the police officers to Haiti, we need to comply with certain conditions. We know that President William Ruto is circumventing the order of the court. He is trying to go behind that order, using very simplistic excuses.
The lawyer points to a ruling made by High Court Judge Chacha Mwita on January 26th, barring the deployment of police to Haiti without a reciprocal agreement. The then Prime Minister of Haiti, Ariel Henry, met with President William Ruto in Nairobi on March 1st this year, but Aukot argues that Henry did not have the powers to sign such an agreement under Haitian law.
The request must be made by a democratically elected president of the requesting country. The former Prime Minister of Haiti, Ariel Henry, who actually resigned at the time, did not have those powers under the Constitution of Haiti, and therefore making the whole reciprocal agreement a nullity from the very beginning.
Aukot, in his new application, alleges that the bilateral agreement between the two countries has yet to be gazetted as per the Constitution of Kenya.
I remember the judge even asking Kindiki, Professor Kindiki, where is the reciprocal agreement? Is it published? They never produced any gazette notice as required by our own law.
Despite the filing of the case in court, the police seem to be moving full steam to deployment. Other than Kenya, which will lead the mission, the other countries who have confirmed that they will also send their officers are Chile, Jamaica, Grenada, Paraguay, Burundi, Chad, Mauritius, and Nigeria. Kisewa Emory, TV47.
President William Ruto has emphasized that his administration will not cease in its efforts to increase taxes with the aim of reducing the burden of its debt. President Ruto also stated that his administration's leadership stream will create further opportunities for employment in Africa by 40%.
As you look for resources from elsewhere, you must also look at how do you mobilize resources domestic in your domestic using taxes. You know, taxes that are sensitive, that do not undermine your capability to grow, but you move taxation from production, you move taxation to consumption. You tax the consumption end and support the production end. And then number three, we need to provide more incentives for manufacturing, for value addition, for industrialization, so that we can create more exports. That way we energize our economies. And number four, as I said earlier, we need to deal with the challenge of wastage, of pilferage, of theft, and corruption. We must make sure that every shilling counts for the taxpayer. So these are the four things that I think, top of my mind, we need to do to pull our countries away from the debt situation we're in.
All right, UDA elected leaders from the Mount Kenya region have dismissed yesterday's Limuru 3 meeting as a non-starter, claiming President William Ruto enjoys majority support in the region. The MPs, led by Majority Leader and Kikuyu Member of Parliament Kimani Ichung'wah, termed the meeting as retrogressive and tribal. Only UDA Githunguri Member of Parliament Gathoni Wamuchombe attended yesterday's meeting, as Apollo Kamau reports.
President William Ruto's allies in the Mount Kenya region launched a scathing attack on retired President Uhuru Kenyatta's allies, who convened the Limuru 3 meeting that resolved to form Haki Coalition to unite the mountain. The leaders, led by Kikuyu MP and National Assembly Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah, speaking in Kakamega County, termed Friday's meeting as retrogressive and tribal.
Na ndio nilisema hata wale walikuwa nafanya mikutano ya ukabila jana. Regional and ethnic politics is not only archaic and backward, but it has been passed by time. Regional, ethnic, balkanization politics, the politics of personality worship and personality-based politics is politics that is behind us.
Hasa wewe itawezekanaje ati kiongozi, mtu umekuwa minister, umekuwa mbunge, ati unaita mkutano ya kusema hii mkutano ni ya jamii fulani peke yake? Hiyo ni maneno ambaye tusiruhusu katika taifa letu. Hawa ni watu ambao wanauza chuki, wanauza uzembe na wameishiwa na mawazo, ndio maana wanataka kugawagawa.
Ruto's allies in the Mount Kenya region further claimed the Limuru 3 meeting marked the end of the Jubilee Party after the party was left with only 2 MPs, Embakasi West MP Mark Mwenje and Starehe MP Amos Mwago. This after the rest of the Jubilee MPs joined forces with UDA.
The purpose extremely for yesterday's meeting was to do away with Jubilee, because now constitutionally majority of members who are in parliament, the parliamentary party is measured by the number of members of parliament in that party, and the members of parliament at the Jubilee have declared their support on the line for Ajiro Chege.
Out of the UDA elected MPs in the Mount Kenya region, only Githunguri MP Gathoni Wamuchombe attended the meeting and even dared her party to expel her, while former Kiambu Governor Ferdinand Waitito declared that he has quit UDA.
Tuliona mkutano ilifanyika. Wale wa Kikuyu wako uongozini, MPs alone, we are more than 70. Tuko na women rep 11, senator 10, governor 9. Kwa hivyo kwa mlima tuko na viongozi zaidi ya 100. Ni viongozi wangapi mliona kwa ile mkutano? Hiyo ni kukuelezea vile Kenya iko na vile Mount Kenya tuko.
Tumesema kwenda mbele, tutakuwa tukitembea pamoja, tuambie kila Mkenya hii nchi it belongs to all of us, and we have a responsibility of constructing and putting together a country that will live for the future generations.
Ukianza kusema wewe unaanza Limuru 3, si hata sisi watu wa Mombasa tutasema Mombasa 3. Watu wa Malava mutasema Malava 3. Kutakuwa na nchi.
The Limuru 3 meeting that has caused jitters in the restive Mount Kenya region unveiled the Haki Coalition to champion the region's interests and defend the region from what the organizers called oppression. Apollo Kamau, TV47.
Kenya Kwanza leaders have defended the proposed Finance Bill 2024 to raise taxes in the budget, saying that it is the only way to ensure that the nation gets rid of a large debt and becomes independent. Speaking at a fundraising event for women groups at Tombo Primary School, the leaders, led by Farouk Kibet, the leader of the majority in the National Assembly Kimani Ichung'wah, his counterpart in the Senate Aaron Cheruiyot, and dozens of parliamentarians who attended the event, said that as a nation it is necessary to be independent, and the only way to do that is to be taxed. The leaders have said that they have also asked the opposition to stop politicking about the bill, claiming that some leaders in the opposition have been deceiving Kenyans about the proposals, saying that all Kenyans will be involved in the entire process through public participation.
Mkate kusemekana ikuwe tax exempted ni kusema si nyinyi mnakatwa ushuru mkinunua mafuta, mukipanda gari, ni kusema hiyo pesa yenye mnakatwa iende ilipie mwingine mkate ile asilipe bei ile ambaye anaweza. Na hiyo ndio ukweli wa mambo, tusidanganyane. Any tax exemption means that there are Kenyans who are benefiting at the expense of the majority who don't have a voice to say.
Na mimi nashangaa hata ule ana gari ana complain ati tax ya gari imeongezewa. Tax ya gari ni wale wako na gari binafsi kwa maboma yao barabara hapa. Sasa hao walipe tax.
Tuendelee kukopa ama tujitegemee?
Uliona wengine wanatembea na ujanja ati mkate inaenda kuongezwa bei. Kwani mkate itaongezwa bei? Mkate gani itaongezwa bei? Ruto amesikia wamama wa hapa Malawa wameongea na wazee na vijana, hakuna mkate itaongezwa bei.
Hii nchi yetu haiwezi kombolewa na wazungu. Hii nchi yetu ni sisi wa Afrika, tutaikomboa na kuiondoa katika minyororo ya deni. Hata hivyo, katika masuala ya ushuru, ni lazima tuzunguke katika taifa hili jinsi katiba ya Kenya inavyopendekeza na kufanya ile kitu tunaita public participation. Nyinyi ndio mtasema kama mnataka au hamtaki. Mimi nauliza watu wa Malava, hii uchumi itatengezwa na nini kama hatutatoa pesa?
Now, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has affirmed to Kenyans that the 2022 general election paved way for a new dawn on the country's politics and urged Kenyans to engage in purposeful conversations as he cautioned leaders against taking the country back to dark days when politics of ethnicity were a commonplace. Mudavadi was speaking at the funeral service of the late Mama Rose Nabalayo, urged Kenyans to engage in purposeful conversations that will shape the destiny of the country. He regretted that politics were previously determined by ethnic configurations and engagements and called for the need to rise above petty regional, tribal and ethnic formations and build a united country.
If there is an election in this country that went beyond ethnic barriers and tribalism, it is the election of 2022. 2022 showed us that ethnic lines do not matter. So I want to appeal to the nation that let us not go back to tribal tendencies. Let us not try and go back to where we left. As Kenya, we must be one, we must be united, and we must allow Kenyans to have the right and freedom to vote for a leader of their choice, irrespective of ethnicity, religion, or even gender bias.
Where we are now, sisi tuombee Rais Ruto na hako na mwenzetu Prime Cabinet Secretary, hiyo ndio serikali tunataka tupe uzito.
Na kwa jamii nzima yetu ya watu wa magharibi na waomba, ili tupate heshima, ili tupate kupatia viongozi wetu heshima katika taifa, lazima tuwaunge mkono. Tusiwe watu wa fitina, tusiwe watu wa uchochezi, tusiwe watu wa kuvutana.
Sisi tuko united. Wale kila siku wanawabandika ya kwamba Luya unity, Luya unity. Sasa ndio moto imewaka katika nyumba zao. Sisi we are not divided.
Now, a section of internally displaced persons from the KIDPO organization have strongly condemned the actions of leaders who organized and attended the conference W 3 held on Friday the 17th. Led by their chairman Peter Tena, the members heavily criticized the organizers of the conference, led by NARC party leader Martha Karua and Jubilee Secretary General Jeremiah Kioni, for what they termed as attempting to gain political popularity by deceiving Kenyans instead of seeking solutions to alleviate the burden for Kenyans affected by floods.
Ni mambo ya siasa wakati huu, tunawaomba hawa, hata huyu Martha Karua awache mambo ya siasa wakati huu. Wananchi wameumia.
Ule mkutano wa Lemuru haukuwa assembly, the right of assembly, ati vile inavyokuwa, hapana. Tena ajabu iliyoko kumtaja rais mstaafu. Ni hatari kabisa. Umemtaja na mmemtaja na rais mstaafu na mnasema kuwa unamchagua kama msemaji wa kuendeleza matakwa ya Central Province.
Sasa mbona Martha Karua unataka kuchafua ile mbegu mzuri ambayo Presidenti Uhuru alipanda? Unakuja kumtoa kule amestaafu, lakini unamuingiza hapa kumweka matope. Lakini sasa wakati huu unaanza kusema ati hutambui serikali yenye iko.
Wamama wanatakaga amani, sio siasa, amani. Juu sasa kukiwa na funjo na kukiwa na furugu, wamama ndio huumia na watoto, sio hawa.
Sasa jambo ambalo tunataka kuangazia ni wakati hii mvua ambayo inanyesha. Kuna watu wengi ambao hawana makao. Wengine tunaona wanakaa nje. Martha Karua, ungejitolea hata kama ni milioni yako moja, Wakenya wakuone kweli unawajali masilahi. Wale watoto wanateseka pale na njaa na baridi, uweze kuwasaidia.
All right, that story is taking us to a very fast short break. We are coming back with so much more in the world of news. Stay with us.
Mimi kutoka kuzaliwa sijailala nje.
The white small one, huyo ana sniff gunpowder na risasi na bomb. Alafu huyo mwingine ni Ridgeback ana sniff simba.
Even the employees knows that, so when in the boardroom is the chairman, the CEO and the rest of.
At what point are you a wife?
The minute you get to that inside that door, you become now the wife.
Na kila maamuzi wanayoyafanya hufichua mengi kuhusu utu wao na uongozi wao.
We see God blessing us and we now realize the power of giving also has to be rewarded back.
Kupitia kipindi Mfahamu Kiongozi, tunakuletea mahojiano ya kusisimua na uchambuzi wa kina kuhusu viongozi wetu.
Pick your core business as the bigger stones. Put them in your diary first. Give priority the bigger things.
Usikose kila Alhamis saa 1:30 jioni.
In a world where challenges are as common as opportunities, there are those who dare to defy the odds. They are the entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship isn't just about starting a business, it's about embracing uncertainty, pushing boundaries and turning dreams into reality.
Hata ambao ni pesa ya kusave, wallahi. Ambao mwaka ni pesa nyingi sana.
As long as you're earning something, there's always that opportunity to save. And you start with where you are.
The way we run the business is in a very unforgiving way, where every team member has to bring out their best.
So, to all the dreamers, innovators, and risk takers out there, remember, being an entrepreneur isn't just a job, it's a way of life. Join the journey. Become an entrepreneur. The Grind, Mondays at 7:30 p.m.
Here on Beyond the
All right, welcome back to the broadcast. Thank you so much for staying with us. You are watching TV47 Weekend Edition. Let's continue with our coverage. Now, with just a week after the second term school calendar resumed nationwide, the minds of numerous students and pupils in Mai Mahiu, particularly those affected by floods, are still distracted after the tragedy that struck the area, and nearly 200 of them are yet to return to class. Our reporter Willie Dennis Njiru takes a look at the mental effects on the students in the following report.
Joy Vision School, situated at the foot of the Rift Valley escarpment, recently experienced a vicious landslide in Mahio. While the classrooms could have been spared, the prevailing disquiet has kept half of the school's 160 students away. Desks remain empty, with only 2 female students attending the grade 8 class.
Yesterday I was in class teaching social studies and it started raining. So there is one Nancy, her aunt died in this tragedy. She was sitting like this and looking through the window. She was like, how about it rains and this thing happens again when we are here? So it is really tormenting them. The reaction is they are sad, they are anxious, they are worried. They are not settling down well.
The head teacher expresses concern, stating everyone here quivers with fear as parents urge caution to their children about attending school, with teachers following suit.
So about 60 of them are not yet back to school?
Yes, they are not yet back. Yeah. And
following?
When I ask where they are, they are still at home. When I call their parents telling me, tungoje tu kidogo mwalimu, next week watakuja. They are still afraid. Yes, because the school is just next to where these things happened.
Despite frantic efforts by teachers to conduct counseling sessions, there is a significant need to seek external sources to comfort the troubled learners.
But we'd like professional counselors to come and talk to the children because they need to see new faces giving them hope and encouraging them to stay on, that these rocks are not going to fall on us. No more flood water is coming.
Kama ni vigumu, wanasema tutakaaje bila hawa watoto wetu, lakini tumejaribu sana kuona vile watasaidika kimawazo, na tunaomba macounselors wakuje waweze kuongea na hawa watoto na pia walimu, kwa sababu hii ni jambo kuu, hata ukilifikiria unasikia kulia tu.
Experts warn that traumatic events during childhood can have lasting negative effects into adulthood.
Their mind are still young, so it is something that they are developing. So they saw something that went straight to their mind. So it can have some ripple effects wakati maybe watakuwa wakubwa, na sometimes wanaweza kujipata maybe wanafanya tu ama hiyo mambo yenye waliona inawasumbua mpaka kwa mawazo wakikuwa wakubwa.
Just 200 meters away lies Snyder School, where 6 of its students tragically succumbed to the floods. The school has yet to reopen its doors, and many people are still struggling to come to terms with the events.
Hawa watoto wanastahili kufanyiwa counseling, mimi mwenyewe, walimu na hawa watoto na pia wazazi, ili waweze kuelewa na kuishi vyema.
Mambo na kusahau, mambo na kusikia tu mgurumo kidogo, wanafikiria kwamba ni ile mambo yenye ilikuwa imefanyika. And that's why maybe in one way or the other tumepata mpaka some challenges, hata wengine hawaendi mpaka shule.
This highlights only scratch the surface of the chilling reality faced by children and adults alike, with serious counseling interventions urgently required after such traumatic events.
Those graves there are actually 3. 2 brothers and their aunt. Yes, 2 brothers and their aunt. And the learners, when they have free time, they could be possibly telling each other, pale pamezikwa fulani na fulani. When they were closing school, those fulani and fulani were here. Opening school, fulani and fulani are not there. So it's really traumatic. Yeah, and bearing in mind that it is just behind their classroom. So when they are writing and they just peek through the window, they see fresh graves.
Post-tragedy images are still alive to the learners who used to play here and call this their playing field. Now they required services to counsel them to ensure that they resume normalcy in their classes. Reporting for TV47 from Mahio in Nakuru County, I'm Willie Dennis Njiru.
Thank you, Willie Dennis, for that report. Now, the tourism industry at the coast has picked up as more tourists are flocking to the region. As a result of this, tourism stakeholders in the country have engaged 250 graduates from the North Coast in short refresher courses that will help them advance their knowledge to transform the industry to its best status in service delivery. The program has seen over 1,300 graduates refresh their knowledge in the past in Nairobi and Coast region. children. Speaking during the graduation ceremony in Mombasa, Utalii College administration insisted on the importance of the capacity building process as it will increase service delivery and place the country as a source for employees to the rest of the world. Also, they are aiming for cruise ships and international hotels to address the unemployment situation in the country. Elsewhere, Utalii College is planning to expand its services, including the stalled facility in Kilifi County.
We've been able to successfully graduate over 250 graduates or participants. These are programs that are designed by the college in collaboration with the Tourism Industry Liaison Committee with the Kenya Utalii College to advance new ideas, new knowledge to the players in the industry, refreshing them on what they are doing. And we are happy that we have been able to do that. Now for the last 1 month since March up to May, we have managed to graduate over 1,300 graduates, and we are still continuing with some in Nairobi. And we look forward to keep on playing this role as a college in transforming the industry to the best status of service delivery.
As a college, we aspire to make Kenya a center of excellence in terms of delivery of service. And we have programs coming up. We are increasing capacity at the college so that we can take in more Kenyans to get trained.
Cruise ship industry. So unemployment is something that we're looking into, and that is one of the ways in which we have dealt with that.
All right, now let's take a look at what's happening in the world of sports. Anouk van de Vandy of Belgium is the winner of girls singles category of the Parklands Extreme Junior Circuit 1 tennis tournament after thrashing Miley Friis Haakenson of Denmark 6-3, while Tien Clark Nelson, Tien of South Africa, was the winner of the boys singles after stunning Maxine Faniel of Belgium to score of 6-4, 4-6, 6-3 in the boys doubles. Neha Christian of USA and Anouk van de Vandy of Belgium were the winners after defeating Janvi Asawa of India and Stacey Chepkemei Yego of Kenya in scores of 6-1, 6-2. And in the boys category, Tien Clark Nelson, Tien and Clement Weerters of Belgium were crowned the winners.
So, really positive.
Tough, it was fun. The match I played today, it was also a tough one. I think it was 2.5 hours. It was very tough. Prepare myself for this tournament by practicing a lot on the court, working with my team, and just trying to get my confidence up so I can play the best matches that I can.
I played the tournament well. I'm happy with the result I got in doubles. I could have done better in singles, but I'm glad I got to the semis. I prepared for the tournament by practicing as much as I can on these courts so I can get used to it, because the surface is a bit different from what I'm used to. And I think I'm prepared for the next tournament, and I'm hopeful that I have better results next week.
I'm really happy with the level I had. The matches were great, and I'm very happy to reach the final. Playing against Tian is a during the week, and my opponent in final, so it was a really tough match. I can't wait to play the second week, and I'm looking for more.
That has been happening here at Parklands, and this week we had a very exciting week. We had very good matches, the finals. Players were very happy as well to be around, and it's been a very good atmosphere, and we hope that we have another good week again.
Now, the Kenya Women's U17 national team, Junior Starlets, has today held its last training session in preparation for the second leg of the FIFA U17 Women's World Cup qualifier against Ethiopia after had fought 0-0 draw in the first leg at the Adebe Bekila Stadium in Addis Ababa. The team has stepped up their training regime this week ahead of the second leg slated for tomorrow at 3 p.m. at the Ulinzi Sports Complex. Also, Ethiopia Ethiopia had a field of the Ulinzi Sports Complex ahead of the match. The winner of this match will proceed to the fourth and final round and will face Burundi. The victor of that round will secure an automatic qualification to the 2024 FIFA U17 Women's World Cup in October to be held in the Dominican Republic.
Tumejipush, tumework on our weaknesses. At least this time, venye tumefunzwa na coaches, tunataka tumuonyeshe yenyewe tunaweza. Juu coaches yenyewe wame do their part, same baki sisi players tufanye part yetu. Game ya kesho, ningependa nilikuwa nasema vya tu timu yangu tujaribu, tujikaze. Sasa inabidi tu tujitume, tujitolee. Hii ni final, lazima tuende World Cup. Na ningependa kuambia mafans wetu wakuje kwa wingi, watupeo support. Hatuendi kuangusha, tutatry to give our best.
The first match we did not create a lot of scoring chances, and the ones we created we did not utilize. So hopefully tomorrow it's going to be different. Kwa mafans wote wa Kenya tunawa-urge mkuje kwa wingi, wasichana wanawatarajia. Tunaomba support yenu kesho. It will go a long way in giving the girls morale. It's a big match for the girls and also to Kenya because it's a chance to qualify for the World Cup. It's a step closer when we win the match or when we pull through this round. It's a step closer to going to the World Cup.
Kenya Volleyball Federation National League defending champions KCB were forced to fight hard to secure a 3-2 victory against Kenya Prisons during the fourth leg of the Kenya Volleyball Federation matches at the Kasarani Indoor Arena. The Lionesses faced a tough time in the first set, trailing for the better part of the game, only making a comeback to claim a narrow win of 25-21. The Prisons ladies bounced back in the second and third sets with a 25-21 and 25-26 win respectively before the Bankers returned the form to claim the fourth set with a 25-20. The fifth and decisive set, the Bankers made their intentions known right from the start, dismantling Prisons 15-4 to win the game. The victory extends the Bankers' unbeaten run to 7 matches in the Kenya Volleyball Federation National League approaches its climax. KCB will face a fierce battle against its arch rivals, Kenya Pipeline, on Sunday in the last game of the regular season. The two teams are tied with 20 points at the top of the league standings. All right, Fortune Sacco is past the Michael Olunga Football Academy Morpher in the 2023-2024 FKF Division 1 League Playoff to seal a spot in next season's second-tier FKF National Super League. The match, played at a packed Dandora Stadium early today, ended 3-0 in favor of the Kirinyaga-based side. Elias Murage put Fortune ahead in the 11th minute from the penalty spot for a 1-0 halftime lead. Late in the second half, a goal apiece by Jacob Wangui and Marke Pa in the 79th and 81st minutes sealed Morpher's fate to secure promotion for Fortune. The Division 1 Zone League runners-up now join Zone A champions 3KFC and their Zone B counterparts APS Bomet in next season's second tier.
Tumekuwa gumu, tumekuwa na hard time, matimu zimekuwa zikijituma, lakini na sisi vile tunaambiwa na coach tumekuwa tukijituma mpaka tukaingia playoffs, mpaka tumejituma, mpaka tumewin. Na inanipea moral juu pia tulikuwa tunarajia hapo. Ukikumbuka hapo nyuma kidogo tulikuwa tumepanda KPL, lakini zile vitu za committee zikatokea mpaka tukarudi hapo Div 1, lakini kwa maana yake Mwenyezi Mungu tumerudi NSL tena na natumai pia tutapanda KPL.
Nataka nishukuru Mungu kwanza hii win imetoka mbali sana because vile tuli lose huko Mombasa against Omax, vijana mentally walikuwa chini, lakini nikasema wacha kwanza ni upbuild hiyo ni mentality. So kuanzia hiyo siku ya kwanza ya mazoezi wamefanya vizuri mentally. So kurudi kwa game pia Mofa I can say it's a good team. It's a good team. Imetupatia challenge. Tulikuwa na nini? Tulikuwa na strategy yetu juu tunajua Mofa the tactically well. Kitu kingine technically wachezaji wao ni wazuri, but we had a plan for the game.
All right, that brings us to the end of our bulletin. Thank you so much for watching TV47 Weekend Edition. Be sure to keep an eye on next week's Say because we will be coming back bigger and better. We also want to thank the CNBC for the president's interview earlier today. My name is Anne Odida. Catherine Simaloi is our sign language interpreter tonight.